see.
I don't want to stand.
Oh, okay.
So, Sean and I were having a conversation about his life and what it's like to be a cross-dresser. We talked a little bit about relationships, and so I saw you walking around and said, let's get your perspective. So what is it like to be the husband of...
Sean?
Yeah.
The husband. Well, first of all, wouldn't be the word, or that wouldn't be the way I would explain who I see myself as for him. Be more equal partner, more. There's a lot of me that's cross-dresser too, sort of. I mean, I'm like the Native American would call us men who walk between, or two-spirit, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is I get the feminine expression a lot. I understand it. It's to some, yeah.
But not in a clothing way. In more of a spiritual way?
Yeah. In an intellectual way, and a way of expression, and also what it's like to want to do or be something. I'm a gay man who came out, the world sort of says, oh no, you're weird, don't do that. To get through that too, I understand that process, I think, whatever that is.
So before you guys met, had you known a cross-dresser prior to?
Yes.
And what was your experience of that? What was your view?
She was a neighbor, and she was...
Yeah, she wasn't a cross-dresser, though. She was
True.
transsexual.
She'd been through she'd been in that world and gone on and had... So that would be my closest relationship, yeah.
And so, how long was that before you guys met?
That I knew Tracy? Oh, I don't know, 8 years.
8 years. And so, going back to the day you met, and I guess you met through friends, right?
Paul, right over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about your first encounter.
Well, for me, Paul knew Sean before I bought this house. Paul lives right next door. And for those of you who aren't standing here. And I heard about Sean from Paul. He was this guy that lived around the corner, and and they went on a date once every 6 months, something like that. And he was this little guy who'd been in the army, little as in build, slight, maybe would have been the word Paul used. Anyway, and we would go by his house sometimes after I moved in and say, oh, there's Sean's truck. And Sean drives
four-wheel drive.
Kind of if you didn't, a wife beater, jacked up.
It wasn't Mary Kay Pink, right?
It definitely wasn't a gay cross-dressing toward a truck.
Whatever that, it
Very
wasn't
hetero.
a white BMW convertible either. So yeah. So anyway, so we were having dinner in Decatur, and Sean and some friends went by the window in the restaurant, and Paul said, oh, there's Sean, and I was like, oh, that's Sean? He's cute, I said to everybody at the table. And you came in and said hello, and we just shook hands, and that was it.
And you said you were partially dressed. You were...
Yeah, in more male mode, but yeah.
You had on hoops.
Had on hoops, and if I remember right, I think Scott was there, and one of the questions you said he mentioned was if I had some sort of breasts or something.
Scott did?
Yeah, because I definitely had on my brassiere and
I don't remember.
my fake titties in.
I guess I got lost in the hoops.
So you found him cute. Did you, when you realized that there was a possibility of relationship, did you think about what that would be like as far as your lifestyle?
Yeah.
And what did you think about?
Well, I actually knew enough, I had enough training to be aware of what I was making up and not making up. And I would go into what if and oh gosh, and all that, and then catch myself. So I didn't do a lot of that. And I went by one day, and he was outside, and I asked him for coffee, dinner,
Mm.
and
That was funny though, because I was in Daisy Duke shorts and
yeah,
all that,
yeah,
and
you were,
wielding a chainsaw.
yeah. And then he turned and walked up the driveway up a hill. The driveway was uphill. Walked up the hill in front of the car, and I was like, what is he doing? Because he was, in these short ass shorts.
Right.
Daisy Dukes.
Now, were you ever attracted to women?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in some heterosexual relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, when you found...
Not in the last 40 years. I did some experimentation. Probably would be a better.
Right. So, was it difficult for you to think of yourself as a gay man who's normally in a relationship with a guy wearing guys' clothes to being with a guy who is wearing women's clothes?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. It was it took some maybe courage, some clearing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
At first, socially, it was sometimes it was fun, and sometimes it was a little to be out with Sean when he was dressed in public, somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
grocery store or whatever. Took some time. Now I forget about it, sort of.
Sure.
Most of the time.
Yeah. It's usually triggered by something out there.
Right.
Right, something outside
Something with a double
of the two
take,
of you.
or
Yeah.
they go, oh,
Yeah, he said you get a little protective around that.
Makes me angry.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
'Cause it's rude.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way about other prejudices?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You mean if somebody did that
Well, if
was
you're-
like that with a black person or a
you're in an
okay.
all-white environment, you come in with a black person, or you're in an all-straight environment, and
Right.
So, what else can you tell me about, like, as a person who is not the cross-dresser, but living, I mean, you obviously know him very well. What would you want to share with other folks about the lifestyle from not being the person just looking in from the inside?
From the lifestyle. Wendy, a friend of ours, was talking about lifestyle. That's an interesting word. I don't get it. The word lifestyle.
Give me a better word. I'd love that.
Well, it's like she said something. Oh, I couldn't do that because of the lifestyle. We had this whole conversation of lifestyle, and it doesn't. I would say it's just who we are. It's not like he's who he is, and that's part of it. It's how can I explain it? It's just there's nothing for me. I guess there's no place to judge, or there's no wall to bump up against about our relationship. So I can't say.
I get it. So, like, lifestyle implies...
I don't have a frame of reference.
Sure. No, I understand.
It's just how we live our lives, and I guess to some people it might seem alien or contrived, or take something like special. I don't know that we do anything special that other people don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Let each other be who we are.
Right.
And it's fun. I mean, being with him is fun, in that dressed up place too. It can be, I'm a radical fairy. Dressing up and taking on these sort of personas and characters is fun for me. So, going to the grocery store can be another planet far, far away. With Sean.
Do you ever have plans to go somewhere with someone, some sort of environment where you wish he didn't dress, but you'd never ask him to? And obviously you don't have to answer that.
No, it's a very interesting question, and we have not talked, because I work for DeKalb County, and we're doing a gala